What is the story behind the Confederate cemetery near Alton prison? Have you ever wondered what happened to the Confederate soldiers who were captured during the American Civil War? One significant story unfolds at the Confederate cemetery near Alton prison. This cemetery, known as the North Alton Confederate Cemetery, is the final resting place for nearly 1,300 Confederate prisoners who died while confined at the Alton military prison. The prison itself has an interesting history. Originally built in 1833 as the Illinois State Penitentiary, it was abandoned in 1860 due to poor conditions. When the Civil War began, the federal government repurposed the facility to hold Confederate prisoners. At its peak, the prison housed nearly 1,900 men, far exceeding its estimated capacity of 800. Most of the prisoners captured at Alton came from battles such as Fort Donelson in early 1862. Unfortunately, the prison was plagued by disease outbreaks, particularly smallpox. To manage the spread of the disease, those infected were quarantined on islands in the Mississippi River. Sadly, many who died during this time were buried on those islands, and their graves were never relocated to the mainland. Over time, flooding erased the markers, leaving their exact locations unknown. For prisoners who died from other causes, a designated burial ground was established about 2 miles north of the prison, in an area known as Buck Inn. This site became the official Confederate cemetery. The burial process was overseen by Lieutenant Colonel Sidney Burbank, who made sure that the deceased were buried decently in individual coffins. Each grave was marked with a numbered stake and W.H. Hart was responsible for most of the burials, keeping a record book of those interred. After the war ended, the federal government took ownership of the cemetery in 1867. However, by the late 19th century, efforts to identify individual graves faced challenges. The numbered markers had either been lost or deteriorated, making it difficult to match graves to names accurately. The cemetery was briefly abandoned due to a lack of congressional funding for its upkeep. Today, the Confederate Cemetery near Alton Prison stands as a solemn reminder of the thousands of Confederate soldiers who died in captivity under harsh conditions. Many of these soldiers are buried in unmarked graves, reflecting the challenges of managing wartime prisons and the complexities of post-war commemoration. The cemetery remains a significant historical site, highlighting the human cost of the Civil War and the experiences of those who endured imprisonment.